Hi, this is Ikenke from Blue Steel Auto School again. Today we're going to focus on lane changes. We have touched on this subject in previous videos, but some people asked for more clarification. And so we decided to do a video focusing on lane changes. And this is not going to be a long video. It's just some basic things you need to consider. So I'll explain them to you and then I'll demonstrate. Right? So you just have to remember the process of signaling and looking. And looking is broken down into checking your mirror, but the mirror is not enough. You have to understand that. The mirror cannot see everything. I cannot stress that enough. I don't know how many, I don't want to say arguments, but how many disagreements I have had with some students that insist on just looking in the mirror alone and refuse to look in their blind spot. But you have to understand, that's just how it is. The mirror cannot see everything. And if you just focus on the mirror and you do not check your blind spot, you will hit somebody someday. Because there could be a car right in your blind spot, and by looking in the mirror, it looks perfectly clear. It looks perfectly clear, but then, there's something there. Right? So you think it's clear and you go, next thing you know, boom, oh shoot, what happened? Where'd that come from? Well, it's not that it wasn't there, it's just that you didn't look in the right place. So you have to make sure you check your blind spot. It's mandatory. On the test, just for not checking your blind spot, it's 10 points. And if there's something there that you didn't see, then you fail your test. Right? If the examiner has to reach for the wheel or press the brake and say, hey, didn't you see that car there? Test is over. Right? Because when you're leaving your lane to go into somebody else's lane, they have the right of way. Right? So if somebody's coming into your lane, you have the right of way. So you have the choice whether to let them in or not. But when you're leaving your lane to go into somebody else's lane, they have the right of way. So if there's a car there that's too close, you don't want to just cut them off. Right? That can cause a serious accident. Right? So one rule of thumb is that when you look in the mirror, I would say you should try to see both headlights of the car behind you in the other lane. Right? Not directly behind you, but behind you in the lane that you're trying to get into. Right? If you can see both headlights in your mirror, then you should do a quick check over your shoulder to make sure that there's not any other car in front of that car. If you can see both headlights, then you have enough space to get over. If you can see both headlights and if you've checked your blind spot and there's nobody else there. Alright. So with that being said, I'm gonna demonstrate. Alright, so I'm getting ready to leave the lane here. Alright. I'm leaving the parking lane. So when you're all the way on the side of the road where cars park, this is called the parking lane. And you don't want to drive in the parking lane unless you're parking or leaving. Right? So you probably remember me saying gear signal wheel. So I'm going to make sure I'm in drive. I'm going to signal to the left, turn the wheel to the left, check my mirror, check my blind spot automatically. And now I'm moving away from the parking lane. And this is Eastern Parkway in case you don't recognize it. One of the things you don't want to take for granted, Eastern Parkway is a very pleasantly aesthetic street, especially in the spring and summer with the trees with full leaves. And one of my favorites is after a snowstorm. Driving down Eastern Parkway with all the trees with the snow-covered branches, it's picturesque. But for now, so you see I'm just driving right now, I'm in my lane. This guy next to me is turning. So now I'm gonna get ready to switch lanes. I wanna get to the left lane. So I signal first, I have to check my mirror and my blind spot. And now that I'm sure that it's clear, I'm just gonna turn a little bit, not a lot. Just a very slight tilt of the wheel. You just cross the line and establish yourself in the next lane and then continue going straight. And you'll also notice I didn't press the brake to do that. Right? And when you're in the course of a lane change, you don't want to just press the brake for no reason. Of course, if something else happens, like now I had to press the brake because the light's red and, a car stopped in front of me, so of course if something else happens, you have to be prepared to press the brake. But you don't automatically press the brake to do a lane change, right? Ideally, you'd rather not press your brake if you can. You want to maintain your speed and keep traffic moving. And going too slow actually makes it harder because now the cars in the other lane are approaching you faster. So now I want to switch lanes, but there's a car right next to me. I'm putting on my signal, but just because I put on my signal doesn't give me the right of way. So I'm looking in my mirror and I could just see like the tip of the car. Right? So I know it's not safe. Now this car has gone by. I look again, there's nobody there. I'm just gonna glide over. Alright. And now again, I'm not slowing down because of the lane change. I'm slowing down because even though the light turned green, the cars in front of me didn't start moving yet. Alright. Now they're moving, and I'm going with the flow of traffic. Very important on your test. Don't follow them over the speed limit, but follow them up to the speed limit. Alright, so you don't want to go over the speed limit, but you don't want to be doing 15 when everybody else is doing 25 and above. Right? If of course you're in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. Alright, we'll just do a few more changes just so you get the idea. We're at a red light at the moment, so so you can actually do a test, right? To check the blind spot theory, and it's not really a theory, it's been proven, but you can prove it to yourself. You can just look in your mirror, find of course not while you're moving, find a stationary place, sit somewhere where cars are going by and stare in your mirror, and you'll see that there's a moment where they disappear completely, then they reappear again. Right? That's your blind spot. Right? You could also have somebody stand in your blind spot and look in the mirror, and you won't be able to see them. You would swear it was perfectly clear. But if you go over, you will still hit them. Alright, let's try to do another one. So, I'm signaling now. There's a car going by me on my left. I'm looking. I can see both headlights of the other car. And I'm just a slight turn. You don't jerk the wheel. Slight turn. And you notice I'm maintaining my speed. In this case, the light's green. Traffic is still moving. I didn't slow down at all. You have to try, with all things being equal, as long as everything is moving fine, you try to keep moving. Right? You don't want to be the reason that you hold up traffic. And if you slow down for no reason, you're holding up traffic. Right? So, I hope this kind of clarifies things. It's not rocket science. You just signal, you check your mirror, you check your blind spot. If it's safe, you go. If it's not safe, you can't go. I'm going to go into the turning lane here. I'm going to make this turn and come off of the parkway. Alright, so I had to signal and look, because even though they're not supposed to, people will drive through the yellow area. If you look straight up ahead, you see there's a yellow area there. Cars are not supposed to drive through there, but people do. Unfortunately, that's why we have so many accidents, is because people don't do what they're supposed to do. Alright, so now I have the green arrow here, and I can go ahead and turn. We got this idiot running through. Alright, and I'm just gonna pull over here, signal and look, come slowly over. Alright, control the brake and stop. Alright, I'm just gonna try to give you a quick idea of what the blind spot looks like. So you see this car approaching and it's gone, and then it disappears. Another car and it's gone. Another car and it's gone. Alright, so if you are just looking in the mirror and you decide to go right now, boom, you hit that car. Right? So you have to make sure you don't just depend on the mirror. You have to turn your head. Alright, so CKNK signing off. Please like, comment, request notifications, and subscribe so you know when the next video is coming. It is less than a week before Christmas, so I wish everybody happy holidays. Take care.